went to Pyrrhus for the festival of Bendis. There he got into a ruckus at the home of Polymarchus. There he got folks to discuss the true nature of justice. Then a guy named Telemachus got real angry just because he's a sophist. Telemachus, would you call justice vice? No. I would rather say a sublime simplicity. Well then, would you call injustice malice? No. I would rather say discretion. So, injustice creates divisions and hatred and fighting, and justice imparts harmony and friendship. Is that not true? Grant me not to deliver important opinions, Socrates, for I do not desire these, but only to pervert the right for my own advantage and to evade my creditors. And you shall have what you desire, but commit yourself without fear. Do you purpose to besiege me? No, I wish briefly to learn from you. Is the power of speaking implanted in your nature? Speaking is not in me. How then will you be able to learn? Excellently, of course. Come then, what would you do if anyone were to beat you? I take the beating, and then when I have waited a little while, I call witnesses to prove it. Then again, after a short interview, I go to the law for justice. That's right. And if this results in hatred from the man you accused, would not justice and not injustice create hatred? I agree, because I do not wish to quarrel with you. Let me remind you that we found our way hither in search after justice and injustice. True. But what of that? Well, if we have discovered them, are we to require that the just man should attain absolute justice, or may we be satisfied with an approximation? The approximation will be enough. Would a painter be any the worse because after having successfully depicted an ideal of a perfectly beautiful man, he was unable to show that any such man could ever have existed? Socrates, when you talk in this strange way, a feeling passes over the minds of your hearers. They fancy that they are led astray a little at each step in the argument, owing to their own want of skill in asking and answering questions. Well, then let me try again. I believe that some rich and mighty man who had a great opinion of his own power was the first to say that justice is doing good to your friends and harm to your enemies. Most true. Yes, but if this definition also breaks down, what other can be offered? What folly has taken possession of you, Socrates? I say that if you want really to know what justice is, you should not only ask, but answer. I must have clearness and accuracy. What if I give you an answer about justice other and better than any of these? What do you deserve to have done to you? Done to me? As becomes the ignorant, I must learn from the wise. That is what I deserve to have done to me. I will destroy your arguments. Tell me, by doing what? By speaking what is just. But I will overturn them by contradicting them, for I know not what justice is. You refuse to answer yourself, but take and pull to pieces the answers of someone else. Why, my good friend, how can anyone answer who says that he knows nothing, and who, even if he has some faint notions of his own, is told by a man of authority not to utter them? The natural thing is that the speaker should be someone like yourself, who professes to know and can tell what he knows. Will you then kindly answer? Behold the wisdom of Socrates. He refuses to teach and goes about learning from others, to whom he never even says thank you. That I learn from others is quite true, but that I am ungrateful, I wholly deny. Money I have none, and therefore I pay in praise, which is all I have. And how ready I am to praise anyone who speaks well. You will soon find out when you answer, for I expect that you will answer well. Listen then. I proclaim that justice is nothing else than the interest of the stronger. And now, why do you not praise me? But of course you won't. I wish that you would be a little clearer. That's abominable of you, Socrates. What I mean is that in all states there is the same principle, which is the interest of the government. And as the government must be supposed to have power, the only reasonable conclusion is that everywhere there is one principle of justice, which is the interest of the stronger. Do you suppose that I ask these questions with any design of injuring you in the argument? Suppose is not the word, I know it. But you will be found out. And by sheer force of argument, you will never prevail. Do you imagine I am such a madman as to try and cheat? I might as well shave a lion. Allow me a question. Will you admit that justice is the excellence of the soul, and injustice the defect of the soul? Yes, but let me ask you now. How would you arrange what's good? Are there not some good things which we welcome for their own sakes and independently of their consequences, as for example, harmless pleasures and enjoyments which delight us at the time, although nothing follows from them? I agree that, in thinking there is such a class. Is there not also a second class of goods, such as knowledge, sight, health, which are desirable, but not only in themselves, but also for their results? Certainly. And would you not recognize a third class, such as gymnastic, and the care of the sick, and the physician's art, also the various ways of money-making? These do good, but we regard them as disagreeable, and no one would choose them for their own sakes, but only for the sake of some reward or result which flows from them. There is this third class also, but why do you ask? because I want to know in which of the three classes you would place justice. In the highest class, among those goods which he who would be happy desires both for their own sake and for the sake of their results. Then the many are of another mind. They think that justice is to be reckoned in the troublesome class, among goods which are to be pursued for the sake of profitable rewards and of reputation, but in themselves are disagreeable and rather to be avoided. Would you agree that the just soul and the just man will live well, and the unjust man will live ill? Yes. Then the just is happy, and the unjust miserable. So be it. But happiness and not misery is profitable. So you say? Then injustice can never be more profitable than justice. Socrates, do you wish really to persuade us, or only to seem to have persuaded us, that to be just is always better than to be unjust? I should wish really to persuade you if I could. Then you have certainly not succeeded, nor have you persuaded me. The result of this whole discussion is that I know nothing at all. For I still know not what justice is.